Okay, so that's that. Now we can get into this week's actual topics. Let's see. All right. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway Ride is coming to Disneyland Park. This is breaking news, you guys, from Walt Disney World News today. This is breaking news, so you know it's 100% real. This was published on October 29th, so we're a little bit late on it. But I believe we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show. Not from Walt Disney World News today, but from some other website, I believe. I can't remember the name. But this is breaking, guys. They are claiming 100% that this ride, is coming to Disneyland Park. Oh, excuse me. I'm dying. Okay. Anyways, so I guess there's really not much to talk about. LMGVids, Kris and I were sort of having an interesting discussion before the podcast. So why don't you go ahead and start us off with this?
Oh, me? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Where do I start with this? I don't really know. I don't really like the idea of Disney copying over rides just constantly over and over and over because it really degrades the parks. It's like every single park is a unique experience, right? You go to one park, it's completely different. Go to another park, it's completely different. But ever since Bob Chapek joined the parks, he's been trying to take rides and attractions and copying them over and over and over and over, to a point to where it starts to really kill the vibes of the parks. So I feel like in a couple of years or so, every single park you go to is essentially going to be the same exact thing over and over and over, and it'll be less of an experience when you travel to different parks. But about the actual attraction itself, I don't think it's actually going to come to Disneyland. It doesn't make sense, mainly because it doesn't fit in unless they tear down a bunch of buildings. It's not going to fit. If you look at I guess Google Maps, Google Earth of the Walt Disney World of where the Great Movie Ride is, you can see that building is humongous. It's this giant rectangular thing. Now, about 1 foot, now about 1/5 of that is actually the queue, and the rest of it's actually the show building itself. But the thing is, you can't fit that entire ride into that tiny, tiny, tiny area right there. It just won't really work. And on top of that, I don't think Disney's exactly smart by putting a new ride there, especially when you have fireworks going up at every around 9 o'clock. You have to shut down Toontown around 7:30ish, 6:30ish for the fireworks. So you're literally shooing away people like 4 hours before the park closes out of a new ride. So it doesn't seem logical just for Disney in general to put a new ride in there. Just in my opinion. And people are going to bring this up, but the pyrotechnics and stuff, even though they are going to change up the pyrotechnics, if they don't move, actually no, even if they move the positions of the fireworks, they're still firing it behind the castle. That's the thing. If they fire it behind the castle, that's still going directly right over Toontown. Even if they push it really far back, it's still right over Toontown. It's still a safety hazard. People can't be over there. It's the same reason why they can't move the trains during the fireworks, because it's a safety hazard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I cannot pronounce this person's name in the chat. I apologize. I'm not even going to try. Decibels, yes, thank you. Decibels said, I heard pyrotechnics will only be on the weekend starting in 2019, and there will be a new show that will be heavily based on projections. I don't think I heard that anywhere, but
Walt Disney World today, WDW News Today reported on that. So.
Did they? Okay, I must have missed that bit of news then, but well, that's interesting. We can maybe get into that another time. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Disney? We talked about this a couple weeks ago already, but Alex, what are your thoughts on Disney bringing the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction to Toontown?
Well, I think that it was the cheapest way for Disney to bring more guests into Toontown. Because there's, a lot of people have been wondering whether or not Disney was going to just bulldoze Toontown altogether and build something completely new. Because even the park, knows that Toontown isn't as popular as it used to be, and that it's starting to look a little faded and a little, just outdated and stuff like that. So Toontown was starting to grind to a halt. And so I think that Disney went, well, you know what? We're already building Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for Hollywood Studios Park. You know, and they thought that if if they built it here at Disneyland, for Toontown, it would bring more people back into Toontown, in which I would have to say, okay, yeah, I mean, it would bring more people into Toontown and help prolong the life of Toontown, but I don't think it's going to solve Toontown's problems. And the other thing is, I don't know. I actually think that the railway could fit north of Toontown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you look at the building for the Hollywood Studios one, really, like, that huge rectangular part of the building is all that the whole ride is going to be located in. So there's nothing more to it.
Well, actually, it's more like 1/4 of the building is actually the queue, and the 3/4 of the other building is actually the ride. So they can shrink it down a lot. But the problem is, if you compare the actual size of Toontown, literally the Chinese theater is about give or take a little bigger than 3/4 the size of Toontown. The Chinese theater is huge, but then the actual show building itself is about 3 to almost 4 times the size of the Chinese theater. So it just in general won't really fit. It's a little more down, Matt.
I was really disoriented. Okay, I found it.
I don't know. I have to disagree. Those buildings are about the same size.
You think so? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. So we're talking about this building right here. And WDW... Oh gosh, that's not what I want to do. They did provide this lovely little concept image of where the attraction would go on the article. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I don't really know how credible WDW News Today has been in the past. They're sort of, I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're sort of credible. I've seen them get some things right, but they do say that none of this has been confirmed by any Disney authority, and that it's subject to change. So that's sort of like their scapegoat as to if this ends up being completely wrong. But they are saying that Disney is expected to make the announcement around Mickey and Minnie's 90th birthday on November 18th, which is only a couple days away, at the D23 Destination D event in Florida. They claim that there already is an event scheduled about the ride featuring Disney Imagineers, and that would be probably a good place, I guess, to announce that they're going to be bringing it to Disneyland. But yeah, speaking of that, Mickey's birthday is coming up. That's exciting. Anyways, back onto the topic. I don't know why I said that.
So I was gonna say is the show building for the Railway and Hollywood Studios Park is about 275 feet long, while the area that they plan to allot for it north of Toontown is just about 425 feet long. So I think that they have plenty of room just north of Toontown to build a show building that has both a queue space and a ride.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess they could always shorten the ride, change it up a bit so it's not the exact same experience. But I guess then again, they are building 2 identical Star Wars lands in Disneyland and Hollywood Studios. I guess if this ends up being true, this sort of gives an even less incentive to go to Hollywood Studios. You can just go to Disneyland and get Galaxy's Edge and the Runaway Railway in the same park. So I guess that I don't really understand why they would do that. But Kris does make good points as well.
Yeah. They do that because a majority of people don't actually go to both of the parks. A majority of people only go to one of the parks. So there's really no point to like. But the thing is, it makes every single experience at the Disney park unique. And every time they copy over a ride, they're just following in Universal's footsteps. And if you go to Universal parks today, you go to one park and another park, you can see there are giant quality differences between their parks because it's just like they put all the resources into one park, Florida, and then they export to other parks, and then the quality just dips down like really badly. Like they don't give a damn about because if they know it succeeds in Florida, they go, okay, we can just copy it over here and it'll be successful. We can cut our resources, cut some corners, and boom, just drop it in the park. So it's just if they start doing it, they're gonna start getting that same thing, and over time, we're gonna start getting less quality stuff, and since people trust Disney, they're gonna go, oh yeah, Disney, it's Disney, so it's okay, it's fine, they can make mistakes, whatever. So that's the thing I want to try to avoid, and I'm thinking that if we see Mickey's Runaway Railway come to Toontown, that cycle is gonna start coming, and we're gonna start seeing more and more worse rides.
Well, hopefully they'll copy over Pixar Pier to Epcot. Can I get a high five, everybody listening? Just kidding.
Well, all I know is I kind of sometimes like the copy and paste thing, and the reason why is because I don't like going to Walt Disney World, and I don't really plan on going to the other Disney parks across the world. So it's like when I go to Disneyland Resort, I want to experience all the cool stuff that the other parks have without having to go to those, well, cruddy parks. So, when I last went to Hollywood Studios Park, it just was absolutely terrible. I never want to go back again. Even if they're building Galaxy's Edge there, and then they have, Toy Story Land, and then Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, like, I don't want to step back in that park again. It was just awful. And so, so I'd rather have those amazing rides here where I can access them without having to actually go into another one of Disney's parks,
Okay. Hey there, Mountaineers. Hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the recent podcast, and if you did, be sure to check out the full episode. The link will be in the description.